Morning to everyone. I am Academic Counselor H. Biswas from IGNOU. So today we have to discuss about the review, basically the review class 1 of MMPC 012 strategic management. Earlier 4th session we have already covered up block 1, block 2, block 3 and block 4. So today actually I am just try to cover up the block 1 and block 2 review classes. Means there are 3 to 3 plus 3, 6 units are there. Block 1 consists of 3 units and your block 2 is also 3 units. There are total 6 units. So we have to discuss about the 6 units, important points and some of the particular area where it needs to be more attention is required from the keeping in view of the your exam point of view and as well for the knowledge purposes also. You have to whether you have to give more focus. So and block number 3 and 4 subsequent the next session we have covered up for the review 2 classes. There that time we have to block 3 and 4 we have to cover up. So now as we already discussed earlier, what is the strategy, the concept and the meaning of the strategy and your strategic management concept and the policy and the strategy, what is the difference between the strategy and policy, that also important part. Again we have to touch upon some of the points and some of the level of the strategy as I earlier corporate levels, then your business levels, operation levels. This is the way we have to discuss and what are the important of this strategy, why the strategy is required. So now let's again we have to revise some of the points, that is what is the strategy meaning as such. That is about the concept of the basically the planning. First you have to see the current planning, what is the planning is existing in the organizations. Then some of the you have to forecast or you have to estimate some of the strategy or things. So keeping in view of the future purposes and how to achieve the goal, you have to set some of the action plan and as a strategy. So according to Glick, strategy is the unified and comprehensive and the your integrated plan. He says it is a comprehensive plan and unified as such where the system should be the same, equipment profile, equipment specification will be the same irrespective of where it is the project is going on. For example, it is a big project where suppose for the all India basis some project is going on, suppose for example for the government scheme or something. So that time that should be unified, means so that we can reduce the manpower, we can reduce the design of the equipments and we can exchange the manpower from one unit to another one. If it is the same type of equipment, it is very easy. Once you have trained the people, then they can easily go there and automatically they can run the project. So no problem. So unified, there are so many facilities are there, so that lot of the way you can reduce. Basically the training and development purposes, we can drastically reduce the cost. It is very cost effective. So that is basically the point, the strategy as such. So unified, comprehensive, should be a very comprehensive and integrated plans. That is the overall the meaning of the strategy. There are so many authors that define in different way the strategies. According to Chandril, he is saying the strategy is a determination of basic long-term goals and the objectives. Michael Porter, he is also saying in different way the strategy is the creation of a unique and valued positions. So that is another viewpoint. Then we have to again discuss the nature of the strategy, that is related to the environments, because strategy always you have to consider the environment, and again the external and internal part is there, and it should be right combinations. for the whatever, and there are so many factors will be there. So then you have to first identify the factors, which are the factors that are important, we have to take over, and then finally you should have some forward looking and relevant portions of it already you have to take it for the future purposes and you make a strategy. So that means these are all are the, you can say, the conditions before making the strategy. You have to keep in mind all these things, external, internal, what are the factors that are important for you, because there are so many factors are there in the things. So particularly in your organizations, when you are making the strategy, which are the factors are it may be impacted. So considering this thing, you have to prepare your strategy. Now here the strategies encompasses, it is some of the diagrams are there. This is your where it is actually the strategy in means it is encompasses the your pattern. There are 5 P's are there: pattern, ploy, then your perspectives, position, and your plan. So all these 5 P's are there in the strategies. Ploy in this case, basically you have to see the your 5 pillars, 5 P's are there. Then that is the tactics. Basically the tactics you have to see. Different organizations are following the different tactics. So you have to consider this. This diagram is very important. If the question is coming regarding the strategy, definitely you have to highlight these figures and explain the things. Then coming to need for scanning and the scanning of the environment in the global trends. In this unit, now we are talking about the unit number 3, where actually it is the need for the scanning of the environment and the global trends are there. What is going on in the market, and globally you have to see, because when you are trying to penetrating in the world, in the market, in the international market especially, so you have to consider, and before entering you have to first of all you have to scan the environment, global environment, so that you can identify the problematic areas, factors, and then it will be very easy to for the analysis purposes. So main thing basically you have to first the collection of data. You have to collect all the data or informations, then you have to analysis based on your purposes. So there are so many analysis mechanisms and tools are there. There is one of the your SWOT analysis. There is one of the tools, measuring tools. From there you can understand what is the internal problems, basically what are the factors, what is your strength and what is the weakness of the company, and you can identify, you can list out the things, and accordingly you can take the remedy or the for rectification purposes. Global strategy is alternatives, and then finally you have to why for the analysis? Analysis basically it is give a result, or it helps to identify the correct decisions, so which the best alternatives, best options you can choose, and accordingly you have to do it. So then there are so many ways you can entering in the market. For the penetration in the market, international market, there are so many ways you can export. That's why the exporting the things, that is one of the way you can penetrate in the market. Licensings, you can have a license and start the business. Joint venture, you can have a joint venture with some of the companies and start your exporting. That is the way you can also enter in the international market. Or sometimes direct investment is there, FDI, through this FDI also, or you can invest. This is the way also you can also enter in the market. Now various approaches are there. Now there are so many approaches are there, and within the framework these things, and there are esocentric, similar market, that is basically the similar market, and another is your polycentric approaches, that is subsidiary and free hand types, there is a unique business, and your region centrics means similar units are there, and they are can develop their you can distribute the things, you can distribute the, and the same policy will be there. And another is your geocentric approach are there. That is a consideration, the focus on the entire world, because the geopolitics, considering the things, you have different units are in the internationally are there located in different country. Then that time you have to another approaches will be there. So, and where the potential market, that also you have to see what are the standards of the not only the own countries, host countries policy, other countries policy, where you are likely to start your manufacture or exporting something. So you should know their culture, their law, rule and regulations, their potentiality and potential market area segmented way that you can start your marketing. So all these things are to be gathered, first of all this information together and worldwide. Then supply chain, global supply chains and competitiveness is also the flow of good, the information systems, cash or the work processes. Then logistics is another issues, logistics way of, so that you have to blueprint the roadmap, basically total roadmap you have to see based on these different mechanisms and your how to tackle the global operations or etc. Now, now sometimes we are confused about the strategy and the policies. So that differences should be, that concept should be clear. What is the strategy and what is the policy? Strategy is basically one of your set of guidelines. There is strategy is one of your underlying some of the thinking and actions. That is strategy. But in the case strategy concerns with the directions in which the human and the physical resources are deployed. So that is strategy. What the your resources you have and how to deploy the manpower. So that's why you are planning something. That is basically your strategy. But and policy is basically it is some of the contingent decisions, and the some set of rules are there. You have to maintain the rules and go ahead for these things. So that is actually basically the policy prepared by the management, keeping in view of the overall strategy also. So that for this strategy, what type of policy is required, so that smoothly you can go through this, seamlessly you can do the project. That's why the policy is basically the secondary line of action, you can say it, to fulfill the strategies actions. So strategies are basically action oriented, but policy is not like that. Anyway, there is some chart is there. So if you go through the charts, that is some table is there, and some of the descriptive points are there. Based on this point, what are the differences straightaway you can identify. So it is the plan of actions, but in the it is the principle of the actions. So now next see the levels, the level of the strategy. There are, as I said, every strategy organizational structure is also there. There is also a hierarchy system is there. Similarly, in the strategy also some structure should be, hierarchical structure should be there. Which levels are, what type of strategy should be there? That will be some differences, because the corporate strategy will be different, where the top people are taking the decisions, and so definitely their strategy level of strategy, conceptual ideas, technicality, humanity, and so the area are different. The different type of, or rather I can say the responsibilities will be different. And in the your business level, different strategy should be there, where they have to follow what that is decided by the management, what the strategy is already formulated. They have to prepare for this thing, for designing and for implementing purposes. So that is the business level, where they have to take the whole responsibility to implement stages. And then after that, some your functional areas, where they have to totally how to operate the things, how to how to implement the things, what are the strategies are there. So this is the responsibility is there. Apart from the individual's responsibility, work for a job and already specified rank wise, that is different things. So strategy are basically the aligned, what are the organizational structures are given based on these positions, manager, supervisor or chief manager, general manager, that is the rank and some responsibility and tasks is there. Aligned with this, it is included that strategy is also the part of this there, so that they can fulfill the things like this way. So now again the different level, which are the significant points, the conceptuals and the mixed operations, means they should have a, and the business levels for example, they should have a mix, means conceptual idea should be there, at the same time operational idea should be there, then they can have give a good decision making process, they can give a good instructions. So they are basically the middle and that working as an interface. They have to first things they have to grasp all the conceptual ideas, clear the knowledge, ideas should be clear, what exactly action plan on the management is decided already, what are the things are already formulated. Now they have to download it in the operation systems, so that they can implement very way. So that is a very crucial point for the business levels, where the people should be knowledgeable, as well as for the operational knowledge also should be, they should have. So and in the case of operational levels, they are, it is in the case of your what are the impact are very insignificant, because they are not strategy maker basically, and in the case of your risks involved low, policy potential low, but in the case of adaptability it is important, because adaptability, those who are in the frontliners, I mean the functional areas, they have to adapt as early as possible and own it. They have to own the things, that is the strategy company has decided, that is the alternatives, and we have to do these things. So that type of passion or that type of determinations, adaptations are required for in the lower level. That is the area to be, they have to trained accordingly, they have to mindset should be prepared like this way. So that is the basically the different levels are try to. So questions, if the questions come, what is the your different level of this, then you have to explain the corporate level, business level, operation level, principle, what are the principles, and after that you have to give it this chart also. Now framework, again there are some introduction, and in the framework we have to see what is the intent of the things in the strategic point, and analysis, then formulation part, and finally your choice of the strategy also, then your evaluation and control in the unit number 2, that is there. Now here in this area there some lot of methods are there for the business. Some of the outlines and the plans are achieved for the goal, but first of all we have to outline the things. Yes, this is our goal, this is the framework, basically your framework to things, your starting point and finishing point you have to identify. Just for example, those are artists, I mean some figure out, you have to figure out, or some of the paint something, because you have to paint. First of all you have to keep in mind what should be your frame, that scenery should be there, the sun rising, then some trees, some small hearts will be there, some clouds, and then some rivers. So that's why they are framing out all these things in the mind, and then try to put it in the particular in the frame. That is the area, scope of these things are defined. Similarly in the strategy, same thing you have to keep in mind. You have to first framework the things, that is your area, and this is your strategy, and this is the important. So plan is very important part. So and there it is included your mission, vision, whether the values, plans, objectives, and what are the tactics, are all those component of this particular things. So system of the rules and the use of the govern, and the process of the decision output will also, and organization principles, the value principles. So different elements, as I said, different elements in the strategic management, that is your what is the intent, what is basically the intention of these strategies, is it really correct or not, realistic or not, achievable or not. So that is the main things. Then analysis, you have to gather the knowledge on all these things, existing systems, where the problems are there or not, you have to identify, see the external environment, internal environment, other effects, factors. So you have to accumulate all these things. Then finally you go for the analysis purposes. Then finally you have to formulate the choices. What are the, based on these alternatives, you have to choose the things. And finally you have to set some of the objectives also. So this is the process basically. Again, what I am saying now, right now, that is the diagram. If the question is coming in this way, first you have to principally you have to elaborate some of the things, maybe half a page or 1 page. Have to then after that this diagram is very important, because that way you can your answers and presentation will be good. Some theories, some tables, some curves. This is the way you have to try to explain anything, not only the questions anyway. So strategic intent first things, then after that analysis, as I said, then formulation, strategy formulation, choice of the strategy, and then your implementation, and finally your control and evaluations. So that is this process, you can say this is a total your strategy, particularly this course I think which we are learning basically. Then again your some visions and objective value of the purposes, missions, is the hierarchical your hierarchy of the strategic intents. Basically when you are preparing your intents or some of the contents or intents, whatever it is, then you have to keep in mind what are the visions, what is the value of the purpose, why it is needed basically, what are the missions, objectives, and strategy you have to finally means. So that means strategy is not a particular one word, it is included lot of things, your vision, intent, and well missions and all these things are there. Now there are some vision is also already it is again it encompasses with these things, some of the your guiding focuses, guiding forces, from where it is coming, that vision, why it is coming. Then your structure strategies, you have to make some strategy, what type of structure should be there, and a well defined workforce. Your workforce should be well defined, they should be knowledgeable, up to date. Then motivational factors is also another visions, and your finally your image of orientations. So all this all together vision is there. Now statement, mission statement, mission is there. Then that case it is again it is following some of the your, or you can say the component of the missions are core values, then your competitive strength, core competencies, then distribution networks, process, and your product services, and target market. So all these are your mission statements. Then objectives. Again the objectives are further surrounding, or we can say it contains, or we can say the objectives are consist of your some practices, clear, measurable, logical, practical, and your consistent with missions, and finally the procedure outcomes. So all these things are part of your objectives. So therefore if your questions are coming regarding your objectives, then you have to explain all these parameters, all these components one by one. This is all in totality you can see that the objectives. Now coming to some of the differences between the objectives and the goals. Sometimes we are confused about what is the goal, what is the objectives. It seems to be the same, but some difference are there, because you see the some of the, first you have to see the parameters, that's the degree, time frame, impact, and measuring point. This is the way you can compare the objectives and your goals. So objectives are in this case of degree, this is specific, but in the case of goal it is a broad your broad area, I mean in the board. So, board is decided what should be the goal for the organizations and the company. Objectives are very specific, but again it is the objectives are for the financial department, some objectives are theirs, those are in the marketing, objectives will be there. So, this is a specific way is there, those are in the operation, they are specific. HR divisions, they have some specific objectives are theirs, but in the case of goal, that is basically by the board that the management has decided. Then time frame. In the case of objectives, we can say the time frame is very short, because it already is distributed, spreaded. Objectives are spreaded, means you are in finance, that is your objectives. You are in marketing, this is your objectives. This is already distributed, that means it is short. So, every have some short term basis. But the case of goal is the long term. Company has decided after 5 years our plant should be like this, there should be 1,000 of production range should be there, profitability should be this much. So, that is basically in a long term basis. So, then impact, and as a internal environment, because the specific objectives are within the your internally. So, and but in the goal is very environmental, external environments, because the goal is competition with the other companies. Goal is basically the company are decided competing with the global ranges internationally. So, that is that is the way it is a we can say the external things. Measurement point of view, it is a because specific objectives are basically or quantitative types, but in the case of goal it is a quality types. What type of quality you have particular this company, accordingly your share market, accordingly your global market will be decided. So, now again some of the stages of the strategy formulations that is there. There are how to SWOT analysis, then your alternative strategies, and your how to choose the strategies are there. Then that is some of the formulation stages, or we can say different formulation stages. That chart is also important. Then your elements of the for the implementing purposes now are implementing purposes. That strategy implementing, that what are the process are there. That is first things the operational of these strategies, then your institutional of the strategies, evaluation and the control, and finally your in total it is a implementing strategies. So, implementing strategies we can say consist of your operational strategy, institutional strategies, and evaluation and control. So, all together we can say it is a implementation strategies. Now, again the type of control in an organizations. So, there are various type of control are there, and within the control we can have to see the operation control and your strategic control. Both the things should be there, because time to time you have to observe and take the feedback. Whatever the strategy you have decided, that is in the really right strategy or not. If any in between during the process, if you feel minor changes is required in the your strategic point of view, then you can control the strategic point of view like this way. And from the operational point of view, suppose when it is decided for the designing and the procedures making, and some problems arises, suppose problem that procedure or things are not correctly designed, or maybe it is a very created difficulties for the implementations. So, then you can slightly you can modify it as per this feedback or things, and again you can start the process. So, that is why the control system is basically giving you the feedback. This is giving a feedback to rectification purposes. Now, what is the need for the internationalizations and the global business environment? Then there are some lot of again the same purposes for the global market purposes only. So, there is a need for the scanning. Again you have to scan the thing, the environment, the global trend, what is the going on in the globally in the market segment, then how to penetrating the into the international market, same thing. And another analysis there, your PESTEL analysis, in short it is the TLE. Actually, earlier it was a paste only, your politicals and your economic strategies. This is the way. Now it is add on. After that, some L or E is added. Legal issues are also there. Some environmental issues are also are added. So this is the way. So the various factors are there. The environmental factors and some policies are there. The global strategy alternatives, you have to identify the things. So that accordingly you have to go for the licensings or joint ventures or diagram. That already you have discussed little bit. Now again it is a touch upon the thing. Basically is a part of your SWOT analysis. Now another framework is there, that is a EPRG framework, where the different approaches are there, and there, as I say, the polycentric things are there. Then your I think this part is already geocentric. We have already discussed supply chains already. We have discussed. Now some of the process of the environmental analysis are there. Now I have to go for pestle analysis. That is there actually things are there, economic and social, technological, your legal part and your environmental part are important. As a pestle stands for what are the things. So and then your because it is prevailing to different nations and give a point time to time, so that we can have a implement very easily. So three steps are involved in the conducting the basically this analysis purposes. There are three steps are there. What are the steps for pestle analysis? That is your political factors, economical. That is basically what are the factors in the things analysis purposes. So this is the area are very important to get the feedback or ideas. Then only we have a better we can enter in the market. So some of the modes are there. Basically, what the way you can enter, as I said, is exporting and licensing, franchising, strategic alliances, acquisitions, and direct investment. That already we have covered up these things. Now external, talking about the external environment, where is a strategy, the process. This is a process for the analyzing the external environment. That is, there are three steps are there. One is your this is your environmental scanning, assimilations, basically the adaptations, absorptions, and your evaluations. So when we are talking about the external part of environment for the strategy purposes, so three things you have to keep in mind. First things, your environment, you have to scan the environment, means their cultural diversities and their rule and regulation of the and the policies, what they are. I am talking about the different other international countries. So you have to scan, first of all you have to scan the things. What are the things? So behind the which are the area you have to scan? Their politics, that it is a stable government or not, whatever relationship between our India and the other companies, that bilateral relations, that is also you have to scan it. Market segment, and naturally the culture also there. Yes. So because they have to you have to adopt the things. Then secondary, after that the part is your, you have to scan, you have to analyze the things. That is your assimilation, since absorption, because you have to absorb the things. So that part is also you have to see it. Then finally you have to evaluations. So this is the way you have to, some micro analysis is required. This is the macro environment is you have to see their economics, politics, legal, social, cultural environment, everything you have to things, and their and the sustainability, pollutions, everything are to be considered. Industrial organizations model are also things are there. So then there are so many metrics, different metrics you have to see, and you have to avoid this. Maybe some of the combinations of the things. So until and unless you are not getting all the information, you cannot make a good strategy for basically for the entering in the market. So, economic your your political, demographic, social and the competitive, global and the technological sectors are also important. So, that part also you have to see. Then your external environment is dynamic and changing the things. The first level of the external analysis, that is your understanding of the macro environment, has in the influence of the success and the failure of the organization's strategies. Then some of the steps are there for the analysis purposes when you are considering the external analysis purposes, external environment. So, that case, first things you have to scanning the things, as I said. Now, what I said, the same thing again, it is tabulated away. How to present the things. First things your steps, that is your environmental scanning. Number 2, your assimilations, or we can say absorptions, then evaluations. Now, some diagrams are there, that is industrial organizational models are there, and through these models you can see some of the things are operational opportunities and threats, you can get it, and some of the other parts you can get it, what are the strength and weakness. There are 4 things as per the SWOT analysis I can say, we know, that is your strength, weakness, opportunity and threats. That is why the SWOT things. So, based on these operations, based on this analysis you can identify it, that is the marking there. Some your external environment and your industry selections, based on this you can get it how much opportunity in the market, or what are the threats likely to be. So, this is the way you can identify, and based on your strategy implementation, competitive advantage, what are the resources of the development. It is basically you see they all are internal matter, internal analysis. From there you can get it what are your strength in the organizations and what are the weakness in your organizations. So, this is the also you can get it from there. So, this is if you analyze all these things from external environment, then your industry selections, what type of business you are really go for these things, if really it is a need or not, demand is there or not, and it will be accepted by the local people or not, how much your social responsibility is there or not. So, all these consideration you have to select a particular the product, that is called basically the industrial selections, so product selections. And then strategy formulation is also one of the part. So, based on these you can get it your opportunity and the threats. Definitely from this analysis the outcomes will be like this way, and you can point it out based on your organization like this way. And strength and or weakness you can get it from as per the follows others process. So, there are some of the chart is there, based on these you can the matrix, and you can prepare your own matrix in your company. Basically the significant point you have to identify. Now, coming to your competitive analysis. In the competitive analysis, now let us see what are the points are important. The forces, the competitive forces, what are the forces are there, that also you have to identify. This is important for the competitive analysis, the factors. What are the factors are there? That is your competitors' strength you have to identify. What are the competitors' objectives, that also you have to you should know. What strategy they are following, strength, weakness also you should know the others' weakness, because that is your opportunity, it will be converted as your opportunity. If you get know from the others companies drawback or where the quality point of view or maybe design point of view, that is that should be able to create your or motivate for the for your quality purpose. You have to improve things, so that in the market you can have a competitive ideas. So, that is why sometimes you should need to know other companies objectives, strategy, their his weakness and strength, everything should know it. Then where you are, you can plan accordingly, you can plot as per the, you can plot where you are. Then sales or profit ranking, everything, suppliers condition in your distributor, what type of relationship you have, you likely to be, and in the other company also what type of relationship they have already, they have matured the things, because you have to capture the market. So that how, because some of the shares is already 80-90% shares is already some of the company already achieved. So now you are, when you are launching your product, from you have to cut down their segment and you have to add on your company thing. So that is very, this is all a challenge, basically these are all our challenges, how to capture the market, how to drive your all these customers to purchase your product itself. So that is all are very strong analysis are required because of those things. Porter's 5 forces models are there for the competition purposes. That's why all these analysis mechanisms, tools and tackles are basically the tools are coming, so that based on these you can analyze. And nowadays you see the all our software is available, data is also available. Simply you have to run these things and you have to as a plot and you can get all these alternatives, all these feedbacks outcomes you can get it, and you choose and pick up whether the alternatives they are fit for your company. And competitive rivalry, that is the way you can start your competitiveness. You have to ensure, basically you have to ensure, yes, I am going this business, that is my strategy, it is at par with the market, and I have considered all the other competitors viewpoints and their things. So I am confident. So now you can launch for this project or this. So that is the basically idea. Groups, then you are improving the analysis and understanding the competitions, competitive intelligence, scenario of planning, then your social media competitive analysis. That is another issues are there nowadays, because social competitive media is very important nowadays. You have to follower, you have to like, unlike, or whatever the things you have to things. So that profile, that is a how to advertisement, what the way you have to tie it off with the other things, with the media. So that is another issue, that big challenge for the things. So that then only you can compare with the, and other people can be compared with the things, yes, the competitions are like this. And some of the as per the Porter's 5 forces are there. It is already sketch downs of what the way that it is integrated or related. That is the industrial competitors are there. Then your suppliers and your potential entrants, buyers and your substitutes. So all these things are, you have to prioritize, accordingly you have to prioritize the things. So main things, you have to, decision makers should be see your potential customers, where your customer, this is the main things. As far as we are talking about the competitive, how to make a competitive. So first things you have to, that intelligence or tactics you have to follow. You have to first fix the potential customers where it is lying, and how to capture these things, potential customers. Maybe for that you have to take some proactive measures. That's why the strategy is coming in pictures. You have to take some proactive measures. You have to make something, policies and strategies, objectives, mission, everything. So my main thing is you have to capture the market. You have to enter in the market. That's why you are taking some strategy points. Then competitive profile matrix. There are how to make some profile. You have to make some profile, and you have to take some of the matrices pattern. You have to some other patterns you can consider. You can hire some of the patterns and prepare based on your best fit for your companies. So identify the critical factors, that is CSF, and your assign a weight to each critical successes, and assign the ratings to each organizations, you have to rate some of the other companies' ratings. Then only you can picturize where you are. At a glance, some picture you have to some statement, like you have to prepare some of the statements where you are really able to achieve your in the things. So, some proactive way you have to decide all these things. Now, some internal analysis again is important. This is the part, unit number 6. I can say that they are actually the resources based views. There are some of the how to analyze the things. Again, it is for the analysis purposes. So, whatever your resources you have, first of all you have to look up these things, so that you can reduce the cost of the for the implementation cost and other things. You need not to purchase for the new things, or you need not to hire some of the your human resource also. So, all the area you have to see, your raw materials, inventory controls, your human resources, skill, knowledge, everything, all the points you have to critically you have to diagnose the things. And then you have to compare the standards, that you have to see standards, not only your company standards or India standards, global standards, because ultimately aim the strategy not only for the short terms. Short terms gains may not be a successful, not a strategy as such, long terms, because you have to survive, you have to sustain in the market for a long time. So, you have to focus on the global viewpoint. What is the standard of the international standards? As consider it. Obviously, you have to pass through the domestic international standards also. You have to follow it, but that should be above all. It should up to the international standards of the follow it. Then only you can go for external market, international market purposes. So, there are different type of resources are there, that is your assets, capabilities, and then your competencies. These all are your type of resources. Then critical success factor, as I said, or the project stage. Then value chain frameworks, because it is a use for the understanding the strength and the weakness of the enhance the value of the customers, because from there you can understand how much customers should give a value. So, you have to maybe direct touch with the customers, you have to take feedback, maybe have to survey, for that if market survey is required. Through these, there are so many way media, through this survey, your social media, through this way you have to take some of the view of the customer's view, how much value they have to give it. Then you have to comparisons of the standards, as I said, you have to appropriate standards for the comparisons for the best things. International factor evaluation matrix. So, IFE matrix is a strategic tool for evaluating an organization's international environment and functional areas. That is, some of the tools are there. Nowadays, software is also available, data is also available, no problem. You can get if you do not have the data, no problem. Data supply is also available in the market. You can get you can fetch the data from so different way. So, you can have a clear picture about your based on this you can prepare your matrix, your evaluation for the evaluation purposes. Some example of these tangible and intangible assets are there. That chart, that is also important. Organizational property and the equipment, that is basically brand name. This is your tangible asset. You suppose for your property is there, you have a good building, good furnitures, assets. These all are your tangible, because you can straightway you can cost, or other way you can is involved. It's just like it is proportionate, but in the case of intangible assets, you cannot see sometimes. So, that's why it is the brand names, trust, all these things, customers that believe the things. These all are your intangible assets. These also assets, because particular segment of the customers are liking your product. They are every time they are purchasing your product and they are happy, main things. So, that is your intangible assets. Knowledgeable workforce, you have a workforce very knowledgeable, that is your asset, that things are considered as your intangible assets. Distribution network, it is your tangible, but in the case of robust organizational structure, you have a very robust structure, that structure not failed, not shut down, down losses are less, that means this is all are your intangible assets. Continuously stable, suppose maybe the power supply or computerizations, your all the systems are very robust. So, that is our intangible assets. Systems, machineries are already computer, these all are your tangible asset, these are all are tangible asset, but the system is running very nicely and it is a without any interruptions, that is your intangible assets. So, IT network systems, where that is a direct your tangible asset, IT networks. But when we are talking about the organizational culture, culture is nothing, it is not a signboard or you cannot in the notice board, you cannot see. By the discussion, by the communications, by the people's behavior patterns, you can identify the cultures. That culture is basically your intangible assets. So, that is the way it is definitions are coming. That table is very important for understanding the things. Now, resources, competencies and the competitive of the advantages are there. So, some of the resources are threshold resources and are difficult to intimate. This is your unique resources. Competencies, if we consider it, competencies as threshold competencies are, but in the case of better competitors, if we see, that is a very core competency. Some of the competitive advantage are given considering the resources and your competencies. So, that is the way you can different chart you can prepare for the different purposes, because the data is available. So, you have to make a different chart, different tables for different purposes where the things are required. Another that is also your resource based view models are there. Again, it is already discussed, tangible, intangible, that is the way you can distribute that. This chart is also important. When the questions is coming related to your tangible and intangible assets or something, definitely you have to give some, this diagram is also is very important like this way. Now, another things are SOW, as I already discussed, I mean several times we have SW, strength, weakness, opportunity and threat are already we have discussed. Now, when you have given you some internal and the external, straightway categorize the things from the, you see the your internal environment, straightway strengths and weakness. As I already discussed, from the internal analysis part, through this analysis you can get the strength and weakness, whereas your external environment, through this way we can get it your opportunities and the threats. There is a O and T, that two things are required. So, that is the chart is there, so that you can keep it memory easily as you SOWT the theory, theorems, you can principally you can write it all these things, and along with this chart is very important. If you give this chart table, very clearly you can identify the things. So, again the chart is there, that is a for strength, weakness, opportunities and threats. That chart is basically after the SOT analysis done. Suppose somebody has already survey and based on this database prepared, after the paper the chart will be like this. So, particular organizations you can, as it is the present conditions, then you have to prepare the things. So, where the strengths, weakness and the opportunities and your threats are there. Then some of the your different factors are there, different factor evaluations are different in the matrix way there, and the weightage, basically the weightage, how much weightage are there, that is also important chart. Now third and fourth unit we'll discuss in the next sessions, in the review 2 in the next times. Now before closing, I can say some of the important things as I feel I should discuss. I can give some light, I can try to enlighten some of the points with the present scenarios. Suppose for example, now we are talking about the strategy basically. So that suppose say the what type of strategy we can say the India should have in the present situations. So in the present situation we are talking about our Indian conditions. So first of all, you see the India should adopt a multi-phase strategy and focusing on the strengthening its the internal capability, because the present scenario in India should be capable or internal. As you know, the Trump, I think USA government are giving a so much tariffs in our they are laid down for our India, not only India and globally. So because their policies like this, they have to see their country way. But here is also in our India government is also see the nation first. So that's why what I feel we should discuss the some of the points, the strategies, where we have to give a more focus on this. So capability, while the navigating a complex geopolitical landscape, because the geopolitical conditions is going on, so we have to give our capacity, our capability have to be improved. That is the main things. Then only we can survive in the market like this. Then prioritizing the economic growth, because what are the growth, we have to give some prioritize the things area, particularly in the rural areas and the manufacturing areas, along with your strategic foreign policy that balances the relationships with the major powers. Please. Then India should also focus on social development and ensuring the inclusive growth and addressing the issues like poverty and the inequality. That is also one of the area we should take care. Anyhow, undoubtedly our PMs taken some bold strategy against your Trump's tariffs. He has already taken. Now, what are the planning India has planned for these things? So strategies achieved industrial development, export promotions, infrastructure growth and agricultural developments, but failed to achieve some of the things we have failed for the national development purposes. Reduce unemployment is still growing. That is the area, because any strategy there are some plus point is also there, some minus point. We have to analyze the thing where we are achieved or not, or some of the things we are not achieved. No problem. In the next times we can have a better strategy. You can take it so that you can reduce the things, all these things, and slowly you have to limit the poverty also. So this is today I think now this much is there. I have to next session also have to discuss lot of areas why the present scenario and things. So now okay, thank you for these sessions, and we have to look forward for the next sessions. Thank you very much.